Please join me in the word of prayer. Heavenly Father, we just thank you so much for giving us this opportunity this evening. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to serve our community. Pray for wisdom and guidance and discernment as we make these important decisions for the county. I also pray for Kimberly Cates and her family, just that you would give them peace and comfort as they just deal with the loss of her father, Lord. Please bless and take care of them, Lord. Thank you so much for our law enforcement and our first responders. Please be with them and take care of them as well. Thank you so much in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Okay, if council members could turn on their microphones, and if you have your cell phone, could you at least, could you please silence it or turn it off? And with that, I will call the meeting to order, and I'll look for a motion on the minutes from last month.
Motion to approve.
I'll second that.
We have a motion, a second. All those in favor, usual sign? So moved.
Mike, I'd like to make a comment on those minutes. I know when we talked about the wheel tax that I said the state had cut money. I wasn't referring to the wheel tax money being cut. They cut the gas tax at the same time that we increased the wheel tax, which is why we saw a net reduction. I just wanted to clear that up for people so people didn't think I'd lost my mind.
Okay. Thank you, Sue Ann. Okay, first off tonight, we have Lewis Dreyfus declaratory resolution to look at. Good evening, Steve.
Good evening. Thank you for
Worried about snow.
Thank you. I got it. No worries. Oh, I got it.
I think you've probably seen all these documents, but I thought it appropriate to peel a couple more trees and make sure that you have them in front of you.
As Mike indicated, I'm here on behalf of Louis Dreyfus and requesting tax abatement, something that Dreyfus has requested on prior occasions, and you've been generous enough to provide. They're looking at another major project that is in the works. Some of it has already occurred with the acquisition of equipment, but none of it has yet hit the assessment rolls. So we're here asking for a couple things. One, that you approve the abatement, and two, that you, at the final hearing in February, assuming we get there, approve a waiver since they actually began acquisition of some of the personal property prior to the time they filed the SB1. The SB1 was filed with the auditor on December 6th, technically filed with you tonight. But a detail of what's coming. They're planning real estate improvements of $27,109,000, taking place 23 and 24, finishing December 31, 24. As I indicated, some of that personal property has been acquired, so we will be requesting a waiver. Personal property, they're looking at installation of upgrades and new equipment totaling $32,758,000 for a total project cost of $59,867,000. The type of improvements that we're looking at from a real estate standpoint, meal storage expansion. As the business has grown, storage has become a key. Every time you drive by, you can see that with the storage facilities they've added since day one, and this would just be more storage facilities. From a personal property standpoint, the oils business, and in particular the canola business, has boomed. It's coming in and going out, but there are also is additional infrastructure needed to process that and store that. Again, estimated completion December 31 of '24. In the handout I gave you, I tried to provide some detail because there's always questions about what these items are. I had emailed those, but if your eyesight is like mine, there weren't glasses strong enough to read it, so I enlarged it a little bit in the packet that I've handed out. Currently, the tax payments being made by Dreyfus for personal property are roughly $550,000 a year paid to the county. The real estate taxes for the last year were $181,748. So from that standpoint, your previous abatement approvals have yielded significant success as far as generating and retaining values. Some of those abatements have gone by the wayside, so the full tax value is being paid now, and they will keep falling off. I think there have been 4 of them before this request, and those are expiring based upon the various terms you approved, which weren't all the same for all of those abatements. This project will generate 13 new jobs with an annual payroll and benefits of $959,000, which will essentially get the current payroll up to 161. There are currently 148 employees at Dreyfus, at this facility. 142 of those are Kosciuszko County residents, according to the tax records. Can't give out that information, but we can tell you where they live, and that's about as much as we can say. The personal property improvements that are coming, a lot of those are upgrading existing equipment, making it more efficient, more productive. I don't have much control over how corporate lists their capital expenditures for a given period of time. And of course, the first thing I noticed when they gave me their list of what the project was is there were 2 items in there that were described as maintenance. And they were big items. They totaled about $8 million. Well, what they call maintenance is upgrades. And it's upgrading the existing equipment by the installation of additional equipment. In the case of processing, new processing procedures that require additional equipment that upgrade that, it's not maintenance. I spent a lot of time on the telephone with my contacts, making sure it wasn't routine maintenance. The various items that are on the exhibit that I've given you are reasonably detailed, so that you can look through them and see what the expenditures will be for various items. And from the assessor standpoint, it helps. For a long time, these abatements were combined so that when the CF1s were filed at the end of each year, it was for all of the abatements. A couple of years ago, we changed that so that they're now separated, so the assessor can actually have a better handle on what's happening with personal property, rather than trying to go back and wade through SB1 forms that were filed in previous years. So this is the form that will be utilized and attached to the necessary filings so that you and the assessor can have a better idea of what to look for down the road. But the totals of those projects are shown at the bottom of that column of descriptions. Again, totaling that $59 million that we're looking at. The requests that we're making are for, obviously, 2 abatements, one for real estate improvements, one for personal property. We're requesting abatement on the real estate of 10 years, abatement on the personal property of 5 years in light of the total value of the project at $59 million with the additional $1 million in employee benefits that will be coming from the new job. Louis Dreyfus, of course, is an international corporation, excuse me, and actually has competition within its own structure internationally. These projects that are being added to the Claypool facility were originally vied for by other operations of Dreyfus. Dreyfus has found that Kosciuszko County has been welcoming and makes sure that they're satisfied and has provided them with the benefits that otherwise can't be obtained, whether it's in Argentina or France or somewhere else in the U.S. You have elevated yourself to a level that is higher than most of the people that Dreyfus has to deal with. That is appreciated, and that's why they keep coming back. Claypool continues to succeed. I think you've been through not only the initial bean plant and biodiesel plant, but the subsequent glycerin refinery, which added more value and more jobs, and most recently the canola processing facility, which brings essentially canola oil in from Canada, processes it, and ships it out of the Claypool facility. It has expanded, I think, even more than what they anticipated, and canola oil is in high demand. But I look at the benefit to the local area by not only what Dreyfus has already done, but what they're proposing with this project. Again, 142 out of 148 current employees are Kosciuszko County residents. I provided you with a general list of local or regional vendors who supply Dreyfus. They may not all be in this county, but they are in the region. And of course, there are just some things you may not be able to get in this county. Commodity prices, I think, are significant to the agricultural industry because Dreyfus has historically provided a price that is competitive or more than competitive than other places where those commodities can be sold. And because Kosciuszko County growers can drive to Claypool rather than driving to Fort Wayne or Peru, they're saving in transportation costs, and in this day and age, transportation costs are a significant portion of any operation. With this planned expansion, there is no expense to the county. Infrastructure is already in place. We're dealing with a state highway that has been improved sufficiently to handle the traffic that goes in and out of the Dreyfus facility. And outside of the additional meal storage, there's nothing that's creating additional drainage, and the drainage is contained on site. And to my knowledge, there were a couple initial problems over the years that have been resolved, and there is no drainage problem now. Fire and police protection is in place, will remain the same. Again, I think it's significant to look at the taxes that are paid each year, not just what taxes are abated. And real estate taxes of $182,000 a year roughly, and personal property taxes of $524,000 roughly. Tax abatement attracts people, and it has attracted not only Dreyfus initially, but has attracted the expansion projects they've gone through since their initial construction. They continue to add to the tax base, and will continue to add to the tax base. Abatement doesn't change that tax base. It merely provides an exemption from a portion of the tax, be it 100% in the first year, but that's the only year it's 100%. That tax payment then starts to increase every subsequent year during the abatement period. The benefit to county industries from the location of Dreyfus is always hard to measure. I can give you a list of vendors and I can tell you about the employees, but the fact that Dreyfus is here has attracted other users of the Dreyfus facility. It's not just Kosciuszko County farmers who are providing Dreyfus with what it needs. It comes from all the surrounding area. And with the addition of the canola facility, it comes from Canada. So we've become a spot on the map from that standpoint, and this will just add to the reputation of that location. Looking at the history of Dreyfus and this project, we can only assume that as it continues to go forward, whether it's 2 years from now or 4 years from now, there will be additional expansion they'll be looking for. At some point, they will probably look at a second entrance. At an additional point, they've already, in this project, adding to their rail yard, so they have additional capacity. That connection to the north-south Norfolk Southern line at some point will have to happen, so they've got another means of access back to the railroad. Those are in the future. This one right now is pretty detailed with the information I've given you. Again, we're asking for 10-year abatement on a roughly $30 million real estate improvement and 5-year abatement on the personal property. Again, roughly $29 or $30 million in personal property.
Okay, Steve, tonight we're just looking at the declaratory resolution.
Right.
Can you give a very brief description of what the next step would be if this was approved?
Okay. If you adopt the declaratory resolution tonight, the next step is to schedule a hearing on the request for a waiver and a hearing on the final approval, the confirmatory resolution, which would approve what you're doing tonight in final form. And that confirmatory resolution would also show approval of the waiver.
Okay. Okay, with that then, I would like to open it up to the public. And is there anyone here from the public that would like us to speak against us approving a resolution? Is there anybody here that would like to speak for it? Okay, with that, I'll close it to the public. And then I will look to the council for any concerns or questions. There.
We, as the abatement committee, have met with Steve, and we have looked at everything he's presented. And we believe that it's appropriate that we could move forward. His question on the maintenance, I have to tell you, I called Steve, and Steve didn't have to think about it but about 30 seconds because he had already.
Recording stopped.
Because he saw what was going on. And so I applaud you for that, Steve, because that's nice that you could get back with us with a quick answer. So the waiver portion is, that's happened several times. This isn't the first, nor will it be the last place that's ever had a waiver. And I think the other piece of it is that when we do the declaratory resolution, we're only saying that we're going to consider 10 and 5. We are not locked into 10 and 5. We can make that change at the February meeting if we choose to. So having said that, if anybody else has anything else.
Any other questions or comments from the council?
I would just make a comment. I had never been real excited about these things, other than the fact that I like to use them to get people to come into the community. And I think one of the tests I've always had is, will they do it, whether we approve this or not? But when I look at all the positives of having them here and the very few county services we give them, I think the only thing that they get out of us really is it's the Claypool Fire Department running out there a few times, and that's not really us. But I think it's a good opportunity for us, and I think we ought to do it.
Okay, would someone like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
We have a motion from Joni and a second from Dave to approve. All those in favor, usual sign.
I have to abstain.
So moved.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, prosecutor Brad. Good evening.
I'd like to echo Steve. It's nice to be at the top of a long agenda, and I know that the order is randomly generated. On an unrelated note, Rhonda and her staff will be having Friday donuts for the next 2 months. We're here to request tonight an additional appropriation for the VOCA grant. If you'll allow me, I'd like to take a minute to remind our citizens the purpose of the VOCA grant. And standing here with me, obviously, is Linda Giusti. Everyone knows Linda. This is an annual request from our office. VOCA it stands for the Victims of Crime Act. VOCA funds are collected from criminal defendants in the form of fines, costs, and fees in the federal court system. 100% of the money in VOCA is collected from convicted criminals. None of the money is collected from local, state, or the federal taxpayers. The purpose of the VOCA grant is to provide services to improve the health and well-being of crime victims, and again, it's paid for by the offenders. The prosecutor's office, because of the continued good work of Linda, has once again been awarded a VOCA grant for the 2024 fiscal year, and it funds our Victims Assistance Program, which Linda leads. We're asking for this council's approval and continued oversight of the VOCA grant according to the breakdown you see in our request, and I would remind council this is a reimbursement-based grant.
Do any of the council members have any questions?
I'd just like to thank you both for the job you do. The victims are usually the last to be considered in the process.
Thank you, Joni.
Any additional questions or comments? If not, I'll look for a motion.
So move.
Second?
We have a motion from Joni, a second from Kathy to approve. All those in favor, usual sign. Thank you, Brad.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Okay, next on the agenda is Bob Weaver, Health Department. Good evening, Bob.
Good evening.
Hello.
I have 2 items of business tonight. The first would be a transfer of $2,732 from our registrar account into our environmental food specialist account. And that's to cover an increase due to an individual reaching the 10-year service level for the county.
Do any of the members have any questions?
I'll make a motion to approve that.
Second.
Motion from Kathy, a second from Sue Ann to approve. All those in favor? Okay, Bob, next.
Yeah, as a result of that, I would need an amendment to the 2024 salary ordinance to cover that total salary amount due to the increase.
I'd move we approve.
I'll second.
I had a question on that, if I could. In the minutes, it said that last week we approved 59,000 for something. Is that what this is? Because this is 61,000.
We approved the 59,000 last month, but now this is going to be at the 10-year rate.
This is because
So
it's
it's a
at a
little bit more of an
10-year rate.
increase.
They discovered that this employee has 10 years
10
in.
years.
And so the rate changed.
Just different pay level because of the years of service. Yep. Okay, with that, I'll look for a motion.
But that amendment also is in for 2023 salary.
Yeah, we have to do it for each year, Dave.
What?
Bob just said the last one was for 2023, this one's for 2024. Okay.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
We already had a motion in a
Oh, did we?
second, didn't we? We already had a motion, we already had a
I
second.
seconded it, I think. But
All those in favor, usual sign.
There we go.
So moved.
If I could, I'd just like to give a real quick update concerning the Health First Indiana Fund. That money came to Rhonda last week in the amount of, I believe, $968,000. $968,263.83. It's a lot of money. It went into an account, State Board of Accounts required, which is our local health fund, 1161. So we're free to start using that. And I also wanted to add that I'm very close to offering a position for the fund coordinator for that grant, which we're required to have. So
What kind of a staff do you anticipate?
I anticipate a full-time coordinator
Okay.
and 3 part-time right at the present time.
Okay.
3 part-time inspectors.
Okay. Any questions of Bob? No? Thank you, Bob.
Thank you.
Thank you for the update.
Next up, we have Assessor Gail Chapman. Good evening, Gail.
Good evening. Do you want me to handle these individually? How do you?
Yes.
Okay.
Please.
Okay. So the $500 transfer is from the contractual services that will be going into the commercial industrial funding account that's been set up. We are moving our commercial industrial back in-house. I think everybody is aware of that at this point. So that's going for the gas and oil for whatever miscellaneous trips she may have to make to go out and pick up additional building permits or look at things a second time. The $11,000 will be the remainder of the contractual amount that we had. That was $80,000 to start. And we will take that $11,000 and transfer it into the commercial industrial fund, leaving, I think, a balance of $68,500 for contractual services for Nexus LTD to train her for this year to get her up to speed on the commercial industrial work. Any questions on that?
Any council members have any questions?
No, do we want to act on them? She's saying them instead of wording. Okay.
I think
Okay.
with that, I'll look for a motion.
So moved to transfer the $500 from contractual services to gas oil.
Second.
We have a motion from Joni, a second from Tony to approve. All those in favor? Okay. And then we have the 11,000.
I'll make a motion to approve the $11,000 transfer from contractual services to commercial industrial supervisor deputy.
I'll second that.
Okay, a motion from Joni and a second from Tony again to approve the $11,000 transfer. All those in favor? So moved.
Okay.
That's it.
The additional appropriation from the assessor's reassessment count of $41,000 is the remainder of the salary that will be paid to Jennifer Spires, who will be heading up our commercial industrial department. $3,947 for Social Security Medicare, $5,778 for retirement contribution, and then $2,600 for health insurance.
Any questions? If not, would you like to handle that, all that under one motion?
I'd move we approve that.
Second.
We have a motion from Sue Ann, and a second from Joni to approve. All those in favor? Thank you, Gail.
Okay. The salary ordinance for the coming out of the property reassessment, $49,322. She is level 3 assessor appraiser at this point. So that will be her salary for the first part of 2024. She will step up in August. And then her salary will change to $51,582 for the remainder of the year then.
Okay, any questions, comments? Would you like to handle that under one motion?
It's
Yeah,
just one
I move,
motion.
it is just one motion. I approve. I move we approve.
And I'll second it.
Okay, a motion from Sue Ann, a second from Joni to approve. All those in favor? Thank you.
Guys, I'm going to give you a real quick update. This won't take very long. I do want you to know that every building permit has been looked at, inspected, data collected, and entered for taxation for the year of 2025. I have an amazing team, guys. I could not do it without my team. So I just wanted to make sure you guys were aware that we have gotten everything caught up that was missed and overlooked. So what turned out to be a really rough year is hopefully the start of a really good year for us. So I just wanted to give you an update on that. Everything is up to speed and we are back on top again.
Please pass
Great
along.
accomplishment, Gail.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think you and I remember a time when we were so far behind and you managed to right the ship, and that's a great
Yeah.
challenge.
Thank you,
Please
guys.
pass along our appreciation to your team, too.
Okay, next up is the sheriff's office. Doesn't say who, so I guess whoever walks up.
I'll start it off. Good evening, council.
Good evening.
Looks like salary ordinance is the first thing to go over. The amendment, reflection of the $5,000 increase of salary. I felt it would be inappropriate for me to take any more than what you guys graciously gave the rest of the department. That's how I settled with the $5,000 increase, so.
Thank you for that, and I make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion from Joni, a second from Dave to approve. All those in favor? Okay,
Thank you. I'm going to bring Lieutenant Mike Mulligan up here. You got to kind of spread out a little bit, but it's a lot of the same topic. If it's all the same to you, I'd like him to just go ahead and take care of all the chirp stuff. If it's not going to confuse you too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Good evening.
good evening.
So I'm here tonight to kind of clear up some confusion from the last meeting. So tonight I'm here to ask for some, to be part of the CHIRP DUI task force and the CHIRP stop arm violation enforcement through the state, DUI at $8,000 and save for $13,000.
Any questions on this?
Nope.
Okay, I'll look for a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion from Tony, a second from Kathy to approve. All
3
those in favor?
seconds, that's good. We really want to give you this money, Ron.
Thank
So
you.
moved.
With that being said, I ask for the appropriations for 2024 with the CHIRP, the first grant of the Click It to Live It of $17,000. That's different than the $19,000 of total because $2,000 was appropriated for 2023. The second would be for the DUI, and that is $8,000 for 2024, and the stop arm violation of $13,000 for 2024.
Any questions or comments? Would you like to handle all that with one motion?
Sure.
I'll look for a motion.
Second. I move. You move? What'd you do?
I'll
Okay,
second.
motion from Tony, a second from Dave. All those in favor? Thank you.
Thank you.
Mike, thank you for applying for these grants. It's wonderful to be able to use that money to help enforce some of the laws that you're required to enforce anyway, so.
Thank you very much.
Okay, next one I'm going to bring up Chief Deputy McCann and also Casey Trombley, who runs our JCAP program. It's going to be a request from you guys on the council to apply for a K-21 grant. This grant is a reflection of a program that we've been working very diligently on for the last several months. The most exciting part about the work that we've put into this program is it's been a collaborative effort from several different members and organizations of the community, such as Light, Fellowship Mission, Bowen Center, and Casey will probably help me out on ones that I'm missing here, but a lot of effort's been put into this. This is a program for the jail. It has to do with peer recovery, coaches being involved and with these inmates statistically at the state level. I think I've talked to each of you at some point about this. That's what they're finding is working, getting people that can relate to the lives of some of these of their past And they're finding that's what's working and keeping people out of coming back from the jail, or come back to the jail. Couldn't be more excited about the work that's been put in. This grant specifically is for a resource navigator position. This navigator position, my desire would be for it to be an employee of the sheriff's office. I feel like that is a very, very important piece to make this program work, because they wouldn't be affiliated with any other program. They would be one of our employees that is, the sole job is to work with these inmates and identify those needs that are needed from those inmates and getting them with the resources that are available in this great community that we have. At this point, I think before I start rambling too much, I'm going to bring Casey up here and just kind of shed some light a little bit, if you don't mind, on what your vision is with this program as well. I've charged, before she talks, I've kind of, I knew we needed to do this program, but I also knew how busy Chief Deputy McCann and I are, so we had to have that person to spearhead this, this program and get the right people around the table, and Casey's done just that, and I know that she's been spread thin because she does such a good job with JCAP, and that requires a lot of her time, but she's done a great job on getting those people at the table. So Casey, thanks.
Yes, so our sole vision is to, help more individuals in the jail. So with JCAP, we can only help, a small percentage at a time because it's an intensive 4-month program. So our hope is we're going to work with people who are about 60 to 90 days from release. So these are people that are very nervous, they're anxious, they are scared about what it's going to be like when they get out. So our hope is to really surround them and support them and help them figure out what are those next steps. Where are you going to live? Where are you interested in going and applying for a job? What about transportation? And if they're in recovery, plugging them into the different recovery organizations that we have here and just really supporting them as they transition into the community and just helping them as much as we can.
Yeah, thank you, Casey. Good job. It's twofold, really, for me. It's these people, inmates, so many of them, as I walk the blocks of the jail, they want help, they want those resources, they just don't know where to begin. And this is exactly what this program is going to be able to provide for them. The other side of it is it's all an effort as well to try to keep the population down, the numbers down in the jail. As I've shared with many of you, that number keeps climbing. So it's a two-prong program here, but it's one that's absolutely needed, and I couldn't feel more passionate about it. I'm going to let Chris McCann kind of talk about what this grant looks like and how we plan to propose it to K-21.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Well, we've been partnering with K-21 as part of this project since we first started discussing it. We've kind of built the proposal that we will present to K-21 as we have the COPS grants in the past. So it's heavily loaded for the position with the grant organization in the beginning, with the individual slowly over time, more of the responsibility coming back to Kosciuszko County. So in the first year, we're proposing that K-21 100% fund the individual, the navigator position. And then the final year of the program, the county picks up 100% of the individual and actually become a Joe employee at that point, full-time. So the way that's broke down over the span of time, the total of it is $483,500, with $228,500 of it being K-21's part of the grant, with Kosciuszko's portion of the grant being $255,000. And through the grant proposal, it breaks down over the years what the percentages are on each side of that cycle. It's based off of a entry-level jail position. We understand that that person's going to need specific certifications, training to elevate them to that position. We're aware of that. We're going to seek out that training. We're going to seek out those certifications. And then like we've done with Casey's position, we'll come back and revisit that once we've been able to get those certifications, get those trainings, and get the program up and going. So that's how we have it laid out, and those are the amounts as far as the K-21 grant proposal.
I would like to just say thank you for taking the time to speak to each of us in small clusters so we didn't violate any open door laws. and to explain it all to us in detail so that we had time to ask questions. That really means a lot.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I make a motion to approve their application for the grant.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion from Joni, a second from Sue Ann to approve. All those in favor? So moved.
Thank you so very much. There is an additional grant. This one's a little bit different, but Chris is going to be the best one to speak to that on the RSET grant. Chris?
It's for the same program. As we've spoken about, we're going to continue to seek out grant funding for this program with the jail. So this grant opportunity came available after the holiday, once everybody returned. There's a slow turnaround, or a quick turnaround. We had to hurry up, get the documentation around, get it into you so we could get in front of you. It's through the Indiana Criminal Justice Institute. It's the 2024 Residential Substance Abuse Treatment Grant. What that is going to do is all those other services that we've explained to you. It's not employees, it's contractual services, computers, training, the certifications we talked about. The grant amount that we've come up with, it's a two-year grant, so it would provide funding to operate the program over 2 years. The total funding that we're requesting in the grant is $680,000. It is a 25% matching grant. However, with all the components that we have already in place, the mental health that we have in place, the substance abuse that we already have in place, that navigator position they're talking about, the JCAP coordinator, we already meet that 25% as we have it written right now. Now, this is in the very early stages. It's due in the beginning of February. We're working on it every day, and it changes every day, but we see that as the ceiling. And we're asking for your approval to go forward with that grant as well.
Do you have any questions or comments?
I just want to say thank you guys for jumping through the hoops, because I know you just found out about this and just went after it, and also that you've pretty much already got the match, so it's really not going to cost the county anything. So I just want to thank you for doing that, and I'll make a motion to approve it.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion from Kathy, a second from Joni to approve. All those in favor? So moved.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I think last thing on for us is the $34,000 transfer request from our gas and oil account to our vehicle account, our motor vehicles account. That would be to, from a 2023 standpoint, to outfit and build police cars.
How many cars?
Mike, still here? That's 5 cars. Should've kept him up here.
Any questions on this one?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Go ahead.
We have a motion from Tony, a second from Joni to approve. All those in favor? Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you, Council.
Thank you.
I just have one quick question on
Yes.
that, Jim. You are comfortable that you have enough gas money left in that fund to carry it to the end of the year? That was just a question.
Yeah, we work diligently with Cheryl
Okay.
and yeah,
Okay.
we're content.
Great.
Thank you.
Okay, next up is County Administrator, and I think Rhonda's going to speak for Marcia.
Yeah, she's not able to be here today, so I'm just coming for a, I got the wrong. Salary ordinance amendment for the human resources specialist. She went up in level for her 6-year level, so this is just a salary ordinance amendment.
So this is to correct a previous pay level, or?
Yes.
Years in service.
Pardon me?
Years in service. She went from 3-year to a 6-year.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve that.
Second.
We have a motion from Kathy, a second from Sue Ann to approve. All those in favor? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, opioid committee.
Okay, well, this is something I am glad to see that we are finally getting to almost the end of this. We have worked on this for more than a year, trying to get the state to straighten out their end and us to get on board, and then to try to figure out where we're at. So there's 2 pieces to this. while it looks like it's broken down in three on here, there's actually only two pieces. Fellowship Mission will be getting $299,999.99. And the Sheriff's Department for counseling at this point, for this amount that we're appropriating, would be $28,832. We currently have a cash balance of that amount and more, so we're not spending anything that we don't already have. But to just fill in a little bit more, the opioid money has not coming in like it was expected to. Evidently, it's not coming from the feds to the state and getting back to us. So there'll be some research done on why that's not happening, I'm sure. But Fellowship Missions plans to, in conjunction with actually a lot of what the sheriff is trying to do with the last 60, 90 days that those people who are in jail are getting ready to get out, to have some places where they could seek counsel and be able to actually help themselves and not feel like they're an island in and of themselves. That's one piece of the puzzle. And then the second part is the counseling for mental health counselors for those people that are in the jail and through the JCAP program. And also there'll be money that's available for the juveniles as well. It's kind of a family, more of a family thing, I think is what they're planning. But that's what we're appropriating the additional appropriation for. There's one more piece of the puzzle. The building that they're buying is $300,000. And then, well, actually $350,000. And so it's like what we did with the ARPA money. If you're coming to ask for help, you probably don't have the money up front to make the match. So we have the money in the opioid money. We will be able to make that match for them. And then when the refund, because we'll get part of it back, we get half of it back, we will receive that back as soon as we get a paid bill and send it to the state. We will get that reimbursement back. So it's, we've doubled our money in what we had, which is really a pretty big deal for the county. Wish we could have got this thing rolling a little quicker and could have made it happen a little quicker. But I think we are close to seeing it come to fruition. At least that's the plan.
Just a question, just curiosity, if nothing else. I'm not sure if this is a you question or Eric question, but, okay, we have the $230,095 as restricted. So I just would like to know the clarification between what you're doing with the restricted funds and the unrestricted funds.
That doesn't have anything to do with him. That has to do with the way the money came back to us. Restricted money can only be spent on things directly attributable to opioid turning around. The second piece of the puzzle is the unrestricted. We could spend that on anything in the county we chose to, but we chose to use that money because as the opioid committee, we chose to use that money because we felt like it was, what it was intended for was to try to benefit those people who are suffering, that we might be able to extend a helping hand and make it work.
Okay, Eric, just kudos for taking this on. I really am impressed with the outpouring between Fellowship Missions and the Sheriff's Department and some of the other not-for-profits to actually help the people who are addicted. I just think it's a long time coming, and I'm impressed that we're doing it, so.
Yeah, I can answer that. It's all going to the same, I mean, like Sue Ann mentioned, the money's all going to the one item, and that's the building. So, and just so you guys know, we do have a closing date of the 19th of this month. So if you're curious about a turnaround time, I can tell you that we close right over here at 11:30 on the 19th.
Okay.
Congratulations.
And I
Thank you.
further want to share with you all that I have asked them for every kind of piece of paper I could think of to be sure that we were covered, they were covered. So I have their 501c3 proof, I have their bylaws, I have their purchase agreement in hand, I have the explanation of where their $50,000 is coming from, and also that the dispensation of the building, should they ever terminate, it will have to go to a nonprofit. So we've covered, I think, all of those bases. I also have copies here of their title insurance, if you would like to see any of those documents.
Whatever you
But I
wanna
just
see.
wanted to be sure that we had all of our bases covered, so we weren't leaving ourselves out, or we weren't leaving you in a position that wasn't going to be good, so.
No, I think everybody's just walking through this for the first time together, so it worked out well.
Yes,
So-
and, I mean, you were the first person to ever open up somewhere for homeless people to go and actually have a chance. And I don't know if you've ever been told how important that is to our community, too. So,
No,
thank you.
And I appreciate you guys and the support, and again, just, it is a team effort, and, I mean, it's just, there's a flow to all this, and the way the community's been connected has been awesome, so we thank you for that. Can I give a quick update on it, just so you guys know?
Absolutely.
We were awarded a grant from K-21 for the remodel of the property, so we're pretty excited about that as well. I hope I have enough copies. Oh, wait, you can see what it's going to and how the interior. Thank you. I'm sorry, I got another one.
Eric.
I'm gonna stay away from Tony, he's sick.
Yeah.
So you can see renovations, we are gonna keep it historic, just like it is. It's one of, in my consideration, it's one of the most beautiful buildings down there, especially on the interior. But it'll be, we're really excited to be able to bring that in, and again, connectedness, Sue Ann mentioned, and I know Sheriff was up here, that transition, that warm handoff when somebody is coming out, and others in the community that are in need. So thank you for helping make this come to fruition.
All right, since we have unrestricted and restricted, we probably should handle that in two motions. So I will look for a motion on the restricted funds for $230,095.
So moved.
I'll second.
We have a motion from Joni, a second from Kathy to approve. All those in favor? Okay, and then now we'll look for a motion on the $69,904 and the $28,832 of unrestricted.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion from Joni, a second from Tony. All those in favor? So moved.
I just have one more thing on this. The money will eventually be coming back into us, and we are looking at additional things that we can do positive for the community to make this happen. Altogether, over 18 years, it's supposed to be $1.5 million, so we have the ability to do some pretty good things with it.
Okay, next on the agenda is ARPA Committee, additional appropriations. We have had a request to take these line by line. So I guess that's what we'll do, and I'll try to make it fairly quick. The first line will be,
Does everybody understand what these are? These are unexpended appropriations that these units didn't spend, that they were allowed, and now we have to do an additional appropriation so they could spend them in '24. Sorry, Mike, I didn't mean to
okay, that's
interrupt.
fine. Thank you. Okay, Public Safety Community Project, $30,442. Do I have a motion?
Yes, you do.
Second.
We have a motion from Tony, a second from Dave. All those in favor? Okay, next is administrative expenses, $668,648.
Can we clarify that? That is a percentage we're required to do? I just want to make sure that that's understood. This number wasn't just pulled from thin air. It's a percentage of the amount of ARPA funds.
That's what's left of the 10% that we were instructed we needed to set aside for administrative, yes.
Right.
Okay, do I have a motion on that one?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion from Kathy, a second from Tony. All those in favor? Okay, going right along, fire alarms, $94,608.
So moved.
Second.
A motion from Joni, a second from Kathy. All those in favor? Tower connectivity, $60,245.
So moved.
Second,
Motion Tony, second from Sue Ann. All those in favor? So moved. Marikai Access, IT Access, $3,373.
So moved.
second,
Motion from Kathy, second from Sue Ann. All those in favor? So moved. IT Secure Email, $56,530.
So moved.
Second.
Motion from Tony, second from Dave. All those in favor? So moved. LRSD ferric chlorine storage, 100,000.
So moved.
Second.
Motion from Sue Ann, second from Joni. All those in favor? So moved. Help Kosciuszko, $1,200,000.
So moved.
Second.
Motion from Kathy, second from Sue Ann. All those in favor? So moved. Okay, HVAC, AC building repairs, $12,833.
So moved.
Second.
Motion from Tony, second from Sue Ann. All those in favor? So moved. CCS HVAC and box truck, $4,457.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion from Kathy, second from Sue Ann. All those in favor?
I drew a blank. What's it?
So moved. Beam and home upgrades, $7,961.
So moved.
Second.
Motion from Tony, second from Joni. All those in favor? So moved. Just Beam and home, $23,255.
So moved.
Second.
Motion from Tony, second from Joni. All those in favor? So moved. North Webster Community Center, $1,460.
So moved.
Second.
Motion from Joni, second from Tony. All those in favor?
I'll abstain.
And show Sue Ann abstained. Okay. CASA training and fingerprinting, $19,100.
I move we approve.
Second.
Motion from Sue Ann, second from Joni to approve. All those in favor? So moved. KCC VB digital sign, $19,375.
So moved.
Second.
Motion from Tony, second from Kathy. All those in favor? So moved. Kosciuszko County Highway, 1300 North Project, $1,888,000.
So moved.
Second.
Motion from Joni, second from Sue Ann. All those in favor? So moved. Justice Building renovations, $2,400,000.
So moved.
Second.
Motion from Tony, second from Sue Ann. All those in favor? All those opposed? Okay. Sydney Tower Project, $372,000.
So moved. Oh, second.
Okay, Tony's motion, Kathy's second. All those in favor? So moved. Wagon wheel renovations, $250,000.
So moved.
Second.
Motion from Sue Ann, second from Joni. All those in favor? So moved. Joe's Kids, $38,699.
So moved.
Second.
Motion from Joni, second from Tony. All those in favor? So moved. YMCA Madison Campus, $100,000.
So moved.
Second.
Motion from Dave, second from Tony. All those in favor? All those opposed?
I'm abstaining.
Okay. Is that it?
Yeah.
Yep, that's all of them.
That's it?
So could I just add that while to the audience, it may look like we ripped through a lot of money there. For Mike and I, this is at least the fifth time we have reviewed these. And for the council, they have been through it twice, once when we proposed it, once when we adopted it. So it's not like it's our first look at it. Just wanted everybody to understand that we weren't just frivolously moving on.
Okay, if I'm on the right page now, after all that, I believe we're at Rhonda Helser.
This is another correction to the salary ordinance or the part-time. It was discovered that the part-time sex violent offender registrar hourly amount was actually for a civilian pool 10-year employee and should be only a civilian pool 6. Sorry. The salary ordinance amendment will need to be made retroactive.
retroactive to January 1st?
Yes.
Okay.
The 2515 is the 6th, correct? Civilian Pulse 6 amount?
Yes.
Okay. Make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion from Joni, a second from Sue Ann. All those in favor?
Thank you.
So moved. Okay, council. Next up is council business travel policy. And I believe we had a little bit of an update on that. Did you want to read the highlighted areas, Sue Ann, or?
Yeah, and I don't know, since this was something Kim had a concern with, there's no huge emergency.
You want to table it?
Maybe we should just table it until she can be here. I think that's the fair thing to do, since it was her concern.
Okay, so
So,
that's a motion?
and I'll second that.
We had a motion from Sue Ann, a second from Joni to table it to February. All those in favor? Thank you. Okay, Town of Syracuse Economic Development Council Board appointment. My recommendation is Kimberly Cates. Her term will expire 12/31 of '24. I have personally visited with Kim on this. She agreed to do it. I think she's excited about doing it. So with that, I would look for a motion.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion from Tony, a second from Joni, to approve. All those in favor? Okay, so moved. ABC, Dan Woods reappointment, term would expire 12/31/24.
I move we approve.
Second.
Motion from Sue Ann, second from Tony to approve. All those in favor? Okay, so moved. The next one is Strategic Plan Committee Council Board appointment.
I would like to nominate Mike Long, President of the council, to be that board member on that strategic plan committee.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion, a second. Any further discussion, questions, comments? All those in favor? All those opposed? Okay, so moved. I might want to add too that this will end 12/31 of '24 as well. Okay, further business. Help and Okra.
Oh, yeah. We've got,
There we go.
Zach.
Hello,
Good evening.
I'm Zach Drips with MACOG, and I'm the grant administrator for the Okra grants, working with HELP with the towns of Pierceton, Mentone, and Milford. And so I'm here today to present kind of a requirement for the grant funds, kind of action from the council, so kind of giving some background to make sure we're all on the same page. So as you recall, we're, as a county, participating in the HELP planning projects, and you agreed to all the funds, the Okra funds that were given to the county to go to those 3 towns for their top projects. And so they are now ready to submit those applications. They're due next week. So we are diligently working on those applications now and trying to finish those up. One of the requirements for this application for the grant is a 1-to-1 match from the ARPA funds that are spent to the CDBG dollars that are allocated, which again was all upfront to the project. And the county at that time agreed to assist as they can with the ARPA match requirements. That match requirement does not require the county to actually give the towns money, but in fact, to spend ARPA dollars on projects that are located in the strategic implementation plan from the HELP process, right? And so you are already, even tonight again, indicated the setting aside $1.2 million for implementing all those projects. So that's just above and beyond what I would need for our projects. So my administrative task tonight is to indicate to the state, part of the application, that what portion of local match you are helping each community and from where that's coming. So I had 3 resolutions in front of you that go over that. So I'm going to kind of walk through the details for each community.
Yes.
And then you can make I'm assuming you'll make a motion each individually.
Correct.
Great. So, a second. Okay, so I had to designate which project in which you have spent money on or have, or are in the process of spending money on, to go towards that. So I'm using the broadband expansion project that you are working on in Sydney, which was about $302,000 of ARPA funds being used for that. So I'm using all the totals for these projects are coming from that project. So for the town of Mentone. They are submitting a application to do their Minster Park enhancements and improvements. Total cost of that project is $702,800. They're applying for CDBG dollars of $280,662. They're providing from their own ARPA match $202,961. So that remaining balance of $77,701 would be coming from the ARPA match that was spent on the Sydney broadband project.
Any council members have any questions or comments on this one?
I'm now confused, and I apologize,
I
but I am
understand.
confused.
Yep, no problem.
How can you you're using the Sydney dollars just to make the match?
Correct. And so what the requirements of the funding from the state, for the HELP program is for the amount of funding, ARPA dollars spent to match the amount of CDBG dollars that the towns are spending, so match 1-to-1. And that, what you spend on ARPA can be spent on any project that was listed in the strategic implementation plan that was developed in the, through that process.
And
Right.
Sydney was originally listed as one of those.
Yep, so that project was in there, so all the
Thank
dollars
you.
you spend, so it's not additional dollars, it's just
Yeah.
just
It
designating that.
Sounds really strange.
It's
to be
really- it's
pulling
really
from
strange.
Sydney for Mentone,
The,
but that's okay.
the state had to explain to me several times before I could get it to this resolution, so.
Thank you for
But thank you for the question, yep.
I just like to say thank you so much, because I know you've been working super hard and jumping through tons of hoops, and we're the first community to be doing this, so it's all new.
Yeah.
And anyway, I just want to thank you for all your hard work.
All right, thank you.
With that, I'll make a motion to approve, unless anyone else has a question.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion from Kathy, a second from Joe to approve Mentone. All those in favor? So moved.
Great, thank you. So the next is Milford, and so their selected project is on their replacing water meters. So the total cost of that is $427,328. They're using from their, they're applying for CDBG dollars for $249,296. Their contribution from local ARPA funds are $178,032. So the county portion of the ARPA match would be $71,264.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion from Joni, a second from Sue Ann to approve Milford. All those in favor? So moved.
Thank you. And the last is Pearston on a sidewalk connectivity project. The total cost of the project is $501,428. The CDBG portion they're applying for is $280,042. Their local ARPA contribution is $221,386. And the county portion of the ARPA match would be $58,656.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion from Tony and a second from Kathy to approve. All those in favor? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, getting closer. Any further business to come before the council? Anybody from the audience? Any council member have anything they want to talk about?
Oh, I just want to announce that we're going to have a joint meeting with commissioners and council and commissioners on January the 30th, after the commissioner meeting at 10 o'clock with Reedy Financial to go over our financial situation, current financials.
This will be a public meeting and the
It'll
press will be in the
public
room.
meeting, Yeah.
Yes.
And I have an update on the redevelopment commission. We met on the first working day of the year. Elected officers took our oaths of office, and we will meet every other month for 2024.
Any further business to talk about, discuss? Nothing?
If any of you have not saw the invitation to the County Council Association's district meetings, we're at Whitley County. It's pretty close. It would be a great opportunity to hear about legislation and mix with our peers.
I signed up today.
Isn't that the same night in AIC and ICCA together on that?
No, that's just
Different
the
thing.
County Council Association. Then the AIC will be around for a district meeting after the legislative session.
Okay.
So there's
I
two.
signed up for AIC. Rhonda signed me up for the AIC, but not the ICCA.
Okay, well, that's the ledge, you talking about the ledge that's in Indy on February
No.
6th, 7th, and 8th? You're talking about the district meetings?
AIC district meeting, January 23rd at Eagle Glen.
Yeah.
No,
No,
that's the
ICCA.
county councils, yeah.
Maybe I was confused on which one it was, because I
Yeah.
got some emails.
Okay,
But whatever it is, I'm
Go to
going.
both of them.
if there's nothing further, I'll look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion Kathy, a second from Tony to adjourn. All those in favor? So moved.
Thank you.
Are you opposed, Joni? No. Oh, I didn't see your hand.
I just leave, that's the same thing.
Sorry, thank you, everyone.